Protect yourselves at all times. Keep your punches up. Remember, bone here on up. So punches here are fine. Okay? Shake hands. Good luck to both of you.
All right, so we're set to go. This should be more of a chess match than what we just saw in that war between Alvarado and Brandon Rios. If you've joined us, you missed the war, to be sure. It could be the fight of the year, Brandon Rios and Mike Alvarado, with Rios stopping him in the 7th round after Alvarado really doing a job on him. But right now, the business is for the WBO Junior Featherweight or Super Bantamweight World Championship at 122 pounds. Nonito Donaire working as an orthodox fighter right now, jabbing with the left hand. He'll switch from time to time. And Nishioka is a southpaw fighter jabbing with the right hand. So, Carlos, we're going to see those front feet getting jammed up, and you got to work for the outside. In the black trunks is Nishioka.
You can see right away Nishioka, he's got that right hand up and covering, he's protected from the left hook. He's not going to get hit with that hook. That's his plan.
Nonito Donaire kind of fights in the shadows of Manny Pacquiao, but he's much loved in the Philippines. Philippine network here doing features on him and doing the fight. Great right hand, lances on the forehead of Nishioka. What are your opening thoughts here in the early going here after a minute gone? It looks like to me that Donaire seems to be a little bit quicker than Nishioka.
He is. He's quicker. You know, he's very explosive on how he gets in and gets out and punches it. And I think that Nishioka right now is a little tentative. You know, he's got that right hand up high. You know, he's worried about that left hook. And when you're worried like that about a punch, it kind of intimidates you, and it doesn't allow you to do your work because you're afraid you're going to get countered with that left hook.
He believes in throwing hard body shots with his left hand downstairs.
Watch your feet.
Referee K. Senior says they watch the front feet, but there's going to be no way they can watch their front feet. It just happens when you got a southpaw, as Nishioka is, and the primarily right-handed fighter as Donaire. Donaire will switch, but he's an orthodox fighter to be sure. What's the idea for the southpaw is to throw the straight left hand down the middle, and for the right-handed fighter to throw the straight right hand down the middle. Try to catch your opponent. So far, not much offense off the hands of Nishioka. And again, if it's a chess match that you want to see for good boxing, we've got that. We had the war we've already seen, but this will open up, believe me. This will open up in a while. Again, we mentioned it's cool here in the arena at the Home Depot Center now. And the fighters
10 seconds, stop at the bell.
They're just starting to get a little glaze on the backs now, so they're just getting warmed up, and they've been doing it for 3 minutes here.
Stop at the bell.
Bell ends round 1. Crowd is a little antsy because they don't really want to see a boxing match after what they've just seen.
Yeah, I was just thinking it's going to be some very hard shoes to fill after that fight.
And both of these guys are primarily boxers, and Nonito, who doesn't mind throwing heavy punches and trying to knock a guy out. And in the corner of Nishioka.
And we just saw Rodriguez Garcia telling Donaire that he's got that hanging up hard, so he's going to have to try to find a way to get to the body first and then open him up upstairs.
Doc, it's Dr. Gutas and myself, right?
And he's saying watch out to the left in the corner. We have a Japanese guy in the corner that's translating to our producer, Marty Cohen, who's telling us what they're saying in Japanese. All right, so we're set to go. Round number 2 from the Home Depot Center in Carson, California, just outside of Los Angeles. I'm the Colonel Bob Sheridan, along with Carlos Palomino, former world welterweight champion, and you're watching Top Rank Boxing worldwide. Glad that you're with us. What a night it's been so far. And these guys are 2 premier boxers, and the chess match continues now. Nonito opens up. Donaire in the red trunks. Nishioka in the black trunks. You noticed yesterday that Nonito said he likes to please his fans, so if he has a few boos, maybe he will open it up a bit more. But Nishioka hasn't done anything so far but catch punches. Hasn't opened up. He showed the ability to get to the body of Nonito a couple of times with that left hand, but he throws not too many jabs at all.
Well, he's really worried about that left hook, you know, and it's kind of making him very, very tentative about what he wants to do. He's walking forward, but he's not doing anything. And Nonito Donaire has very quick hands. He jumps in, jumps out.
Nonito hasn't knocked anyone out in his last 3 fights, so he might be a little anxious to try to score that left hook. Although he said he wouldn't do that. He wouldn't get, you know, let himself allow to just go slugging with his left hook and right hand. But, you know, he actually gets criticized. I mean, how can you criticize this guy?
Well, you know, he's moved up to 122 pounds, so, you know, he's fighting bigger guys, you know, stronger guys, better chins, so he can't knock everybody out.
And so, being the smart, intelligent fighter that he is, he's decided to box this guy. And so far, he's outboxing Nishioka, who really hasn't opened up yet.
Don't push his head down. That you cause that, like, okay? Don't push his head down.
Something happened to the knee
okay?
of Donaire.
They whacked knees, and I think that Donaire got the worst of that.
He definitely did, because it hurt him. It looks like his knee has got some problems right now, too. It doesn't look really stable on him, does it? I can't tell. He may have a problem with that right knee.
It seems fine right now.
You watch it, though. Every once in a while, it looks like it gives. He looks fine when he's throwing punches. Oh, nice uppercut. There you go. You talk about him in and out, in and out. Well, there he is. I guess his leg is all right, Carlos.
Yeah. And, you know, it's difficult to fight him because he throws punches from all angles. You know, he's off balance, but can still throw a punch. You know, he just did that in the uppercut, being off balance. So Nishioka's got to be very careful of what he wants to do, but he's got to have to start throwing combinations.
Nishioka very cautious here in the first 2 rounds. Has not done much offensively. When you hear the reaction of the crowd, it's not really fair because this is truly a boxing match. I mean, these guys aren't loafing out there. They're working hard. I've given Donaire the first 2 rounds. Let's see these knees coming together here now, Carlos, and I think they've got it for us.
There it was.
Not as bad as I thought it was. He was off balance more than the knocking of the knee. But something happened on that right knee. And we'll watch it and see if that swells up or he has any problem. They don't seem to be working on it or straightening it out over there, so maybe it's no issue.
Just tell him, you could even favor him, so he can throw it. Once he throws it, step back.
You're doing good, be patient. Just keep telling him he's doing good. Not much instruction as to what he should do, because he's not doing good. Maybe just hanging in there, they consider he's doing well.
Box, gentlemen.
Nick Erie doing the translations for us, so we appreciate that. And here we go to round number 3. This is scheduled for 12 rounds, and it's going to be a boxing match. We can't expect the type of war that we saw in our first fight of the evening, or our last fight of the evening, I should say.
It's amazing to me when this shot is still dry, and his upper body still looks dry, like he's not respiring. So this is the 3rd round.
Well, this is kind of a new thing for him. They don't have any outdoor arenas that they have boxing in Japan, to my knowledge. So this is probably the first time he's fought outside, where Nonito has fought here in this very arena a couple of times. He's used to fighting outside in the Philippines. It's a chess match here. Nishioka hasn't opened up at all as far as I can see, except trying to go downstairs on a couple of occasions, which have been successful.
Yeah, he's throwing a couple of left hands straight to the body. But yeah, he's got to do something. Here
the crowd starts to hoot and holler a bit too. When you hear Mexican fans that are hearing it then whistling, that's not a good thing.
Yeah, it's not a
It's
good
like at a
thing.
bullfight when they start torching the bull, is that whistling. It's not easy for Donaire either because Nishioka doesn't seem to want to really mix it up, and Donaire is in and out, in and out.
Yeah, it's pretty tough to fight this kind of fight with where your opponent is completely on the defensive, not throwing punches and just completely trying to survive.
And he can't reach him with the jab. We mentioned a couple of times he got the left hand down low. That time he committed himself to it, and you saw what happened. Even though Donaire didn't catch a big piece of him, he did catch little bits of him. And he's concerned about that. You're right, Carlos. He's very concerned with that left hook. Consequently, that right hand is high, and he continues to circle to his left. He doesn't like going back to his right, although he had to that time because he was caught up against the ropes. And you see the expression on the face of the Japanese fighter. It's all concern, and Nonito, it's just another day at the office for him. 15 seconds to go in the third round here in Carson, California.
10 seconds, stop at the bell.
Nice counter punch that time. Nishioka finally got something through. Got the jab through that time.
Stop.
Round 3 is in the books, and Donaire has won them all. Just outboxing this guy. Now this is a point that really Donaire's got to be careful he doesn't get impatient, because he's won the first 3 rounds. He could do this for 12 rounds. It wouldn't please the crowd, but it would please his record in his pocketbook.
Absolutely, and he does, tend to kind of overreach. Here we go. There's
Donaire.
Donaire with a straight right hand, and Nishioka just covering up. He's going to have to find a way to do something. He's landed that straight left to the body. Maybe he can do something off of that. But right now, he's not able.
This is Rachel, Donaire's wife. Lovely lady. She was at the fighter meetings yesterday. We had the opportunity to meet her. She loves coming to the fights to support her husband. A lot of the fighters' wives don't like it at all. All right, here we go. This is round number 4. Donaire has done a nice job outboxing Nishioka. Once in a while, if you hear me say Donaire, that's the way they pronounce it in the Philippines. And when I talk to him, I say Donaire. So I haven't lost my mind. I know it's Donaire here in the United States.
See, those punches that Donaire just threw, that's the only thing he has to be careful with, because how he jumps in, sometimes it gets off balance, and he can get caught coming in like that. So that's the only thing he has to be careful of. But so far, Nishioka's not doing anything, so he doesn't have to worry.
Yeah, there's a little bit of puffiness by both the eyes of Donaire. So, I mean, Nishioka must be getting something in there every once in a while. That's a nice move that Donaire does. He misses the punch and kind of almost grabs over the head and jumps around so he can't be hit. Crowd really getting on them now. This is going to affect Donaire because he will pick up the pace. He will listen to the crowd. Try to throw a heavier punch that time. Digs hard to the body. Right now, he doesn't seem to have any respect for anything that Nishioka may or may not do. Nice uppercut that time by Nishioka that got the attention of Donaire. Donaire quick on his feet, sliding left, comes with that just sneaky uppercut again with the left hand. He's filled with confidence, goes with the right hand lead. Has stayed as a orthodox fighter the entire fight, as has Nishioka staying as a southpaw the entire fight. From time to time, we've seen Donaire switch, but he hasn't in this fight, and he's filled with confidence in this fight. Got clipped with a light straight left hand again, which has been the only effective punch at all for Nishioka.
Nishioka, that was the first time he actually threw something to the head. It was...
It's tough for him to jab, because when Donaire commits himself to come in. He's always throwing stuff. He doesn't enter the kill zone waltzing it. He comes in throwing, so it's tough for him to hold him off with that jab. And he also comes in from angles. He's in front of him now, but he shifts around. Nishioka's really fighting a cautious fight, though. Far too cautious to this point in the fight. Even here, the referee, Raul Kai's senior, said, "Come on,
10
guys,
seconds,
box."
stop at the bell.
There's some hand speed shown by Donaire. Good right hand lands on Nishioka at the bell. Backs him off. The crowd in general was spoiled with the first fight of the evening. Maybe Rios is right. Bob Arum should have made it the main event because nobody would be pleased with this sort of fight. And yet, the boxing aficionados, they say, "Oh, we don't want to just see knockouts. We want to see a good box." Well, this is good boxing, even though Nishioka's not doing much. But it's great to watch Nonito Donaire take it away from him totally. I mean, don't forget, Nishioka's a guy that's won a couple of world titles. This isn't a walk in the park for Nonito.
Let him throw that straight left.
Well, that was a jab that he threw. We hadn't seen a jab before, so he almost got countered there. And there's Donaire. Steps in, throws combination, steps out.
Nonito hardly showing the wares of the fight at all. And here we go, round number 5. This is scheduled for 12. Let's see if Nonito tries to finish this thing off a little bit earlier. He seems like having an adrenaline flow, like he wants to do what he said he wouldn't do, and that's pick it up because he wants to put on a good show. There's quite a few Japanese people here in attendance, but they don't cheer like Americans do. And certainly not like Mexicans do, or Filipinos.
That's a nice left to the body.
But that's all that Nishioka's been able to do in the entire fight is land some of those left hands downstairs. Down to the southpaw, it's his power shot, but it's not hurting Nonito. Donaire up in the toes. Very quick with that left hand, whether he uses it as jab or uses it as his power hook. Trying to set up his left hook. You know what I think Nonito needs to do is throw more straight right hands. Lull him asleep with the right hand and then nail him with the left, because this kid, Nishioka, it's clear he just does not want to get hit with the left hook to the head. Nonito doing everything he can to get this fight going and try to do and try to damage this guy, but he just can't really catch him flush. The front feet are getting caught up, as you heard the referee say, watch the feet. But when you're fighting a southpaw as an orthodox fighter, there's nothing you can do about the feet except try to have the outside position.
Exactly.
And you're certainly not watching.
But I think Nonito's being a little bit too careful himself. I don't know what kind of power Nishioka has, but he's being very careful. And because I think he could just step this up and start throwing a lot more punches and maybe hurt Nishioka, because he's not really doing anything.
But don't forget, Nishioka does have 24 knockouts and 29 wins. So, I mean, he's been fighting in the Far East, so we don't know as much about him as we do about Nonito. But Nonito, is being smart. Don't forget, in the Alvarado fight, Alvarado was cruising along. It looked like it was going to be a long night for Brandon, and then like a bolt out of the blue, Rios dumped him and loaded up about 9 shots, and the referee had to stop the fight.
That was amazing.
Too bad Alvarado didn't go down and take the knee. I was finished seeing that fight. What a great night for Brandon Rios. And here's Nishioka starting to pick it up a little bit. He's let 4 rounds slip away.
10 seconds,
and maybe the 5th round, it's maybe his best round of the fight, but nowhere near enough to win the round yet.
Stop at the bell. Stop.
All right, the bell ends the 5th round. Now Nishioka, if he's going to win this fight or get in the fight, has really got to pick up the pace down.
He really does.
Go offense.
He started that round there towards the end, trying to throw that jab a little bit more. So I think if he gets comfortable with his jab, get it behind his jab, he might be able to do something here.
telling him in the corner to move his feet and to move in general, move more. Saying breathe, breathe. Freddie Roach, our old pal, my pal from Dedham, Massachusetts. Manny Pacquiao's man. Freddie's done a remarkable job handling the disease of Parkinson's and still works in the ring with his fighters, and he tells me that keeps him young and it keeps him flexible and holds off the disease as much as possible.
Back in the corner.
See Freddie still trying to operate, and then you see Muhammad Ali from time to time, and it's, you know, Muhammad doesn't feel bad for himself, but I do. Here we go with round number 6. So I called all these fights, you know, in those years, so I'm just seeing the Muhammad that I knew. Nonito Donaire, red trunks with a white trim from the Philippines, doing a nice job from General Santos City. Nishioka in the last minute of the last round picked it up, but other than that, he hasn't done much in this fight. I mean, catching a lot of punches. Every once in a while, he throws a straight left hand, but it's downstairs. He hasn't gone to the head much of Nonito. And, you know, in the first minute of the fight, it was clear to us right away that Nonito had faster hands.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, he's got to try something. I mean, he just can't walk in like that and not throw punches. There's a jab, but, you know.
The thing that doesn't make it as explosive as the last fight is that Nishioka goes into a shell when he's attacked. When Donaire comes in, he doesn't fight him back. He tries to go defense. At some stage, I expect the fighter with the credentials that he has to open up, but he hasn't done it yet. And the fight's beginning to slip away. He certainly is not going to think that he can wear this guy down.
Well, he made a nice move there to try to land that uppercut, but missed it.
He is more competitive in this 6th round than he has been in other rounds. He seems to be going a little bit offensive-minded, but you see how much he's concentrating on not getting hit by a left hook with that right hand of his. Instead, he's getting hit with uppercuts. Another thing, he doesn't have the fluidity of motion that Nonito has. Even when Nonito gets off balance, he'll still throw a punch like a Nassim Hamad. Somebody like that.
Makes him very dangerous. I think that's why Nishioka is just not.
Oh! Caught him with an uppercut and dropped him. A nice shot. 3. Counts up to 3 and 4 and 5. He'll get up.
6,
His eyes
7,
are clear. He takes the standing 8 count. That was a very good uppercut by Nonito. Now he'd like to finish him off and end this, because that's what people have been waiting for. And he's on the assault heavily now. It wasn't a very heavy knockdown, but it was a good solid knockdown, and it's forced the Japanese fighter to throw to fight. And now we got us a bit of a war right now, as Toshiaki wants to stay in there. Nice series of uppercuts. Actually, his hands were down and hit the canvas, but he was pushed down. Was Nonito Donaire. He just let him push him down.
He did. Nishioka might survive this. Oh!
15 seconds, 14, 13, 12, 10 seconds now to go. Crashing right hand to the left ear. Oh, big shot. Nonito has really controlled this round. He got the knockdown, and now Nishioka says, come on, let's fight. Well, maybe that will ignite him, but he's way behind in the fight with a knockdown. He told him that good work.
I don't know what these guys are talking about in his corner.
Good job. Maybe it's a good job that he survived. That's the only thing I can think of. Watch the knockdown. Watch the uppercut. Straight right hand. Digging body shot.
Yeah,
you know, that body shot might have hurt him too. And a nice uppercut. Here's another angle. And this is a big shot at the end. There's a really good left hook. That's one he's been fearing. Maybe he knows he can survive the left hook, and watching out for the uppercut now.
Back up, son. Back up.
Maybe Nishioka will open up this round. He's got to if he's going to have any chance of winning this fight. On the other hand, you know, it was in the last fight when Metabula was knocked down in the 4th round. that Donaire changed his whole style and went to just strictly trying to go for the knockout. So let's see if he goes back in boxing. He looks like he wants to throw it with plenty of malice right now. He wants to take him out. Right eye of Nishioka is almost closed. And that one big shot that he took at the end of the last round. And they get that left jab, and he's trying to protect that right eye. And that right eye is beginning to close up of Nishioka. And right now he's getting right in front of Donaire. Nishioka trying to get some jabs up. Nonito doesn't have any respect for his power at all, does he?
He doesn't look like it, you know. And Nishioka, when he throws when he throws that punch, he's got to come back and come around with a hook.
In this case, it would be the right hook.
Because
yeah, because he throws with the left hand pretty good. He landed that left hand, he missed that one. Donaire able to duck underneath Nishioka's shot. But Nishioka does have a little bit more of adrenaline flow, even though that right eye is closing up on him. Still protecting it, but he's been protecting it before it was hurt. Nonito Donaire pot-shotting now. That one partially blocked on the gloves. Nonito in the red. What happened there?
I see. You're okay.
Were you hit in the eye with a thumb or something?
It looked like a punch.
Yeah, it looked like a punch to me too, and Nonito walked away. It bothered him though, whatever it was. Maybe he got a little bit of a thumb and an eye.
Well, I really don't know why Nishioka walked away from that. That was not...
Yeah, he should have attacked him.
Yeah.
Nishioka trying to make a fight out of it now here in the 7th round. He's boxing better than he did for the first 5 rounds of the fight. And then, of course, he got dropped in the 6th round. Nishioka goes with that left-hand lead again. That's his power shot. It's been his most successful punch, but most of the time it's landed downstairs and it hasn't hurt Nonito at all. Nonito, you see, on the toes, trying to work in a position to land something powerful. He hasn't gone strictly headhunting since he knocked him down and more or less cruised to this round. Do you think that Nishioka did enough to win this round?
Well, you know, he's starting to land that jab, and then he's still... No, I don't think so, because he's still catching a lot of, you know, short combinations.
I didn't think so. I just want to get your opinion. So I've got Nonito winning every single round. In the 6th round, he wins it by a 10-8 score. Making on my sheet 70-62. Which means that Nishioka would have to drop him a half a dozen times, and as Nishioka's wife, she has a little bit of concerned look on her face. Watch this, Carlos. This is what you talked about when he walked away after landing the punch. Watch.
Watch your head in the bit, okay?
He walks away, boom.
Oh,
you know what? His own thumb might have hit him in the eye.
Watch that head, baby. Watch that head.
They bumped heads.
Mouthpiece is in,
I'd like to see that again, but I guess we won't have time to see that again. All right, and here we go to round number 8. Nonito Donaire comfortably out in front in this fight, but so may have been Mike Alvarado. But Nishioka just doesn't seem to have the power, even though Nonito's the one coming up, you know. He looks stronger, he looks quicker, faster on his feet. And Nishioka really didn't even seem to get into the fight until the 6th round, and he got dropped in that round. He had his best round of the fight, but not winning the 7th round. Talking about Nishioka. Nishioka's trying to pick up the pace here now. Still seems more concerned about protecting the right eye than being offensive-minded and assaulting this guy. This isn't working. You know, at this stage, if I'm going to fight, I got to put the ears back and just let it go and see if I can pull something off like what Rios did against Alvarado.
Exactly. He's got to be thinking that, you know, he's behind, and they got to let him know in the corner that he's got to he's got to throw punches.
One of the problems is the Japanese people are so courteous. They're not telling him the real story when he comes to the corner. They say, you're doing good. Everything that is positive, they tell him. And they're not telling him he's so far behind in the fight that if he doesn't knock this guy out, he can't win it.
Feet, gentlemen, feet. Let's go.
Nishioka seems to be forcing the fight a little bit more now, but see, even though Nonito pushed him away, you can see how strong Nonito is in this fight. He's ready for 122, that's for sure.
Yeah, and he's a bigger guy, so he's able to put that weight on and be strong. And even though Nishioka, he's coming in and forcing the fight, but he's not throwing enough punches. A single punch is not going to do it.
Well, he doesn't jab his way in, Carlos. He'll walk in. That time he throws a jab, which picked off, but no double jabs in the left hand behind it. See, that time he goes with the left hand, one punch again. Really nice combination, finally. Nonito answers with a straight right hand. That's the way you beat a southpaw. Straight right hand down the middle. That one brushed away. I like that slick move that Nonito makes when he slides around with his right foot behind his left foot and twists his body, then comes right back with a punch. You look good like that. With shadow boxing, but you better be ready to throw something, and he is. Nishioka landed another straight left, but he's paying for it now. And now it opens up. Both guys landing shots. Nonito looked like he was winding up to throw a ball from left field that time. Of course, he was going to throw a punch from left field.
10 seconds, stop the bell.
Well, that's the most action-packed minute of this fight that we've had so far, other than the knockdown.
Nishioka is trying, actually, he's opening up now. He's throwing that left hand to the top, to the bottom. I like to see a right hook come after those punches, though.
I don't know what his fight plan was, but in watching what he's done, he was cautious throughout. Then he started to go in the 6th round. It cost him a knockdown. He fought pretty well in the 7th round, and he fought as good as he's fought in the 8th round, but still, Donaire is winning the round.
I'm very back. But you know what you got to do? You got to sit on your, pan your feet, and bend your knees, and that's when your 3-punch combinations land, and that's when you got the power. Let's give me a little more of that.
And look who's already back ringside looking at this. Brandon Rios with his wife. And Freddie Roach right next to him. Brandon, you can tell he was in a fight tonight, though.
Yeah.
And he was. He was in a war. It was everything that it lived up to. And the only thing is, he may not like it when we say it, but I don't like to see him take that many punches. He may have paid a heavy price for his victory tonight. He did pay a heavy price for his victory, but it was great. It was great. Here we go. This is round 9. It's scheduled for 12. Home Depot Center, Carson, California, outside of Los Angeles. Watching top-ranked boxing around the world. Nonito Donaire from the Philippines. Oh, look at that. A slip.
Okay.
Another time. That right leg okay again, Nonito? Once again, the front feet getting tied up. You see a wide shot. You see the front feet getting tied up. He stepped on his toe and then a little push and down he went. Jab, jab. Nonito looking to throw the powerful right hand instead of just the left hook, because in fairness to Nishioka, he's done a nice job protecting the left side, even though that right eye of his is beginning to close up. Protecting his right side, I should have said. Really, really concerned with the left hook, isn't he?
He really is, and rightly so.
But too much at this stage of the fight. I mean, he opened it up the last couple of rounds. He's got to let it fly. This isn't going to get it done for him. He's already wasted a minute here in the 9th round.
That's right, and you're right. He's got to let it go, and he's got to make a decision that either I'm going to go out on my back, or I'm going to make this a fight and try to win.
Yeah, I mean, in the first 5 rounds of the fight, it looked like a fighter that was ahead that was in survival mode. Instead of the first 5 rounds of a fight where you're trying to get some points. Sneaky uppercut by Nonito, and then a body shot with the left hand. And here's Nishioka trying to pick up the pace now. Straight right hand, dropped him. So it wasn't the left hand he had to worry. And that's a pretty good knockdown. This kid's hurt.
7. You sure you're okay? Hey.
He says he's okay, but he's not. There's a lot of time. Nonito wings, and that's it. It's all over. He knew he wasn't ready to fight, and he wasn't going to let Nonito Donaire hurt him. I think that's a good stoppage. Raul Caicino could be criticized, but no way. You got to protect the fighter, and Nishioka was not ready to fight. That's a brilliant win for Nonito Donaire. Beautiful, beautiful fight for him. He scored as a 9th round technical knockout victory after knocking him down twice, once in the 6th round and again in the 9th round. Kais gave Nishioka the opportunity to get up. And a good night for Robert Garcia. Is Paco Bacasel in there to congratulate his new WBO junior featherweight champion of the world. He'll get the WBO belt tonight. And that'll make Nonito a 4-time world champion. Wasn't meant to be for this kid tonight. There were times along the 6th and 7th round, even though he got knocked down in the 6th round, that he got into the fight a little bit, but never really got into it until the fight was out of hand. Nonito looked stronger, heavier throughout the course of the fight, and just did an excellent job. Now, with this fight, we'll show you the end of the fight again, and you watch the big right hand shot that comes, bang, straight right hand, knocks him down, and he's really hurt. You see how wobbly he is? He doesn't really know where he is, and finally gets his hands back up. The ref says you're okay. He says he's okay, but he really isn't. And watch Nonito come at him, and immediately covers up, and as soon as Nonito cracks him with a big uppercut again, the referee stops the fight. And at that stage, it was academic. We'll get the official announcement of the timing and the particulars from our ring announcer, Michael Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Raul Kais Sr. steps in and calls a halt to the bout. The official time, 1 minute, 54 seconds of round number 9. The winner by TKO victory, and still the WBO Junior Featherweight Champion of the World, the Filipino Flash, Nonito Donaire.
So Nonito Donaire gets his WBO belt from President Paco Bacasel.